Hey folks, Doc here. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm kind of pressed for time, so I got a little bit of work done on Boss Haas and I've got just a short little video update for you. Stick around and I'll show you what I've got going on. Alright, so there isn't too much going on with Boss Haas. You can see that I've got an airbox on it. And the airbox I have on it is the factory airbox, and I don't think I'm going to stay with it. But the thing is this airbox would have interfered directly with the hood. You can see that now it doesn't. And it doesn't because I picked up a lovely little piece of kit that I'm going to show you now. I've been keeping my eyes open for one of these, and I managed to get my hands on it. Look at that. For those of you that can't figure out what that little square box is, that is a proper manifold grid heater. Now, these engines were available as an option with a glow plug, but the problem is all they did was set a glow plug in the intake track right here. And a glow plug in and of itself can't really heat a large volume of air very effectively like that. In fact, a lot of the various reviews and postings I've read said they're just not worth the money you pay for them. And I started thinking about, well, wouldn't it be great if I could get an intake grid heater from, I don't know, maybe a 12-valve Cummins or something, just anything, something that I could adapt onto there that would actually allow easy winter starts with a proper grid heater. This is a heater with a surface area, you know, multiple spans of wire, if you will, that will heat up a large moving volume of air. Now, those of you that stick around to see if I'm going to include an Easter egg after any of my videos saw this a few weeks ago, and this is yet another one of these 10-horse diesels. This was a generator engine. I'm going to lean over the top here, but the lighting's bad in this corner. Nah, you can't see it worth a damn. Anyways, it's got a generator shaft on it. It was a generator engine, and right there between the airbox and the intake port is not the manifold preheater that is now on Boss Haas. I scored this engine, and a big selling point for this engine for me was the manifold preheater, so I immediately whipped it off this thing and put it on Boss Haas. I've got some interesting ideas for this engine, but we'll discuss that at a later date. So yes, I got a third one of these engines. It's okay to hate me, I hate myself. Alright, back to the Boss Haas here. One of the unadvertised little bonuses to having this manifold heater here is that it brings the airbox, or whatever airbox I choose to use, outside of the hood. That extra 2 inches that it gives me clears the hood. So I just made a perfect little notch out of the hood in order to clear that manifold preheater, and all is well. You can see by the garbage bag on the other side of the engine that I've got a muffler sitting there too. We'll cover that in a second. But I was really happy with the fact that the intake now cleared the hood. See what I mean? Like, I got 2 inches there, and it's sticking out of the hood maybe 3/4 of an inch to the mounting point. If this had remained inboard, and I didn't build some sort of pipe to bring it outboard, I would have had to put a great big cutout in the hood, which I didn't want to do, because I didn't want a hood to wind up too floppy, you know. This adds some structure. The garbage bag, the exhaust, the muffler. I think I got a little creative on this one. Every time I said the name Boss Haas to myself, I couldn't help but get this little flash, this little glimmer of the Wild West. Must be the Haas thing. So, I present to you exhaust by Gatling. What the hell is that? Well, that is a Gatling gun inspired muffler. It is a functional muffler. The basis for it is a small 2.5 pound fire extinguisher, and the actual muffler piping, the tube inside and the piece going to the exhaust port, which you can just catch a glimpse of there, that's 1-inch EMT, and the gun barrels, all 8 of them, are 1/2-inch EMT. That's electrical conduit, for those of you that aren't quite familiar with the term. Folks run wires through that stuff. It's the same stuff that I made these out of and those out of. I make a lot of things out of EMT. It's cheap, it's easy to get your hands on. Every hardware store carries it. It's pretty easy to bend, it's easy enough to weld. Anyways, for some reason, I decided it would be cool to have a Gatling gun exhaust. Yeah, complete with sights, crosshairs. Yep, that's a Sprocket. You're watching Sprocket's Garage. Of course you are. Anyways, I'll light that sucker up in a minute. I just want to let you know that I got a little artistic with the muffler on this thing. It's all shiny and silvery right now. I will paint it. I haven't decided yet to go with the cast iron high heat paint that I've done my last few mufflers with, like you saw in Senseless Suburban, for example. Or that you happen to see on Suburban Commando. Okay, memory refresher, that's the cast iron paint. Mind you, that's kind of old and weathered and has overheated a couple of times, so it's kind of turning a little gold, but that's the cast iron high heat paint. So it's a toss-up between the cast iron paint and probably black. Maybe a satin black, I don't know, I'll have to see what's available in high heat. Or, I don't know, maybe the barrels in black and the rest in the cast iron, or vice versa. I'll have to see. For the hell of it, because I thought it needed some more visual detail, I've just got that electrical box tacked to the side of it. It looked like it needed something there. It was a little bit too empty. Anyways, I'm going to fire this thing up and let you have a look and a listen. Well, it sounds like a single-cylinder diesel. Sounds better than, you know, open exhaust, no muffler at all. Probably sounds a little bit better than stock exhaust, but it'll definitely do the job. And when she's rolling coal, it's got a nice visual. Let's try that. I'm going to have to pull start this thing because I still don't have any electricals connected, but I just wanted to show you. You guys are, I'm sure, familiar with the compression relief on the rocker cover. That's that red lever right there. Well, one day I went to start this thing up and I forgot all about that compression relief. And I just went ahead and I yanked the cord and it kicked back and it ripped the cord right off the recoil. That was my boner moment, man. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Anyways, the only thing I had kicking around to repair it with was paracord, so that's what I'm using. Anyways, I'll set the camera up, I'll light the sucker up, and you can see and hear the exhaust. I have to manipulate the throttle by hand and pull start it and hold shoot and match. So let's make sure that compression relief is on. Throttle set. Wild Wild West with Will Smith and Kevin Kline, all that black smoke and mechanology and hydraulics. I am the master of the mechanical stuff. Loved that movie. I loved the technology that they created for the movie, and I just kind of had flashes of that when I was trying to dream up the exhaust on this thing. So I don't know if it's really a theme that I'm going with, but it just seemed to give it a little bit of visual interest. You guys know that I love playing with exhaust and creating my own mufflers, my own exhaust systems, and sometimes it's all about the sound and sometimes it's all about the look, and sometimes it's about performance. In this particular case it was entirely looks oriented. In case you're wondering what's inside that thing, you can go back and look at my prior exhaust videos, the Making My Own Muffler series. There's 3 videos in the series, link in the description below. And this muffler, along with most of the other mufflers I make, internally are built the same way. And it's really, really easy. And in this particular case, I used a fire extinguisher. I've done that a couple of times before. I've used disposable propane cylinders. You got to be careful with those. Again, pay attention to the warnings in the video, because disposable propane cylinders can make you have a really, really bad day if you don't know what the hell you're doing or if you're not careful. But anything can-shaped. Oh, yes, I've used air compressor tanks too. I did that for Senseless Suburban. Anyhow, that's our little update video for the Boss Hoss. Thanks for tuning into Sprocket's Garage on YouTube, watching and sharing and liking and subscribing. And until next time, take care of yourself. Later. Oh, no, 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 no. I can't calm down. I am the master of the mechanical stuff, and I have to help you, the master of the stupid stuff.